Hi, Scrap and Lou here. How you all doing? I have my assistant Ray here, and he is helping me film this video. Today we will be scrapping with a stripper. That's right, I'm going to be scrapping with a stripper. And my wife bought me this stripper. How many guys can say that? Alright, one of the things that I found out about this is a genuine Stripmeister. It doesn't come with a hand crank, at least this one didn't. So you got to use the drill, which is fine. It's also important, I'm going to have to swing around here to see this, Ray. Can you come around to the other side? It's got the holes here for the different size wire. This is apparently for Romex. I don't have any of that, I don't think. I don't know if I have Romex. But anyways, the rule of thumb is to always use the smallest hole that you can and make sure that the wire that you're going to be stripping is thick enough. Otherwise, this thing will not work. It'll start to bind. It'll start to throw the wire left or right. And when that happens, which I find very frustrating when it does, you either have to crank this down more, the knob down more, so you get the blade down more, or you have to just not use this to do that. And there's plenty of other ways to do stripping besides using the Stripmeister, but the bigger the cable, the better it is for using this particular device. So I'm going to try it out a little bit. I've duct taped it down onto my working mat. We'll see if this works or not. I have not tried this, which I should have practiced first, but of course I didn't. If you have got true #1 copper where it's a big enough gauge, and I didn't bring my gauge meter here with me today, but if you have a big enough gauge and it's solid wire, then it can be bare bright. The product will be bare bright. I don't think I have any of that. I think it's all braided. But still, #2 copper, #1 copper, very little difference at my scrapyard. So it doesn't matter much for me. So what I like to do is practice testing out, and I'm going to get my head in here a little bit, to try to get this try to figure out the right setting, because you don't want it to pinch too much. And it's better to actually cut off a small piece and test this, and I might do that if this doesn't work. Let's see what we've got here. And then with this particular drill, I'm going to try to go a little slower than faster. The wire that I'm using has been sliced up and cut up a bit, so I'm not sure how well it's going to go through here. If you have nice straight wire that doesn't have a bunch of cuts in it, then that's probably a better wire to use. So I'm seeing that it's coming through pretty well. I think that's going to actually work really well. You can see how much it's gone in. We'll see. That might be too much. We're going to find out. It's always a good idea to it's always a good idea to test a bit out and see what you got. Now, if I've got other wire that's the same thickness here, so I may have gotten lucky and got it set right the first go. And all right, so now, and then of course after that, now you've got to take the braided cable out. Okay, and of course you want to try to make sure you grab all the strands, because if you leave strands behind, eventually this thing's going to fail partway through. So you got to try to make sure that you're catching all the strands that are inside. Okay, I don't mind these little pieces. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is making sure that as you go along, you grab all the strands. And I don't think I have them all here. Let me check. Because otherwise you're just going to lose a bunch and you're going to have little wires all over the place. Okay. All right, so let's pull that off. Where I live, a gram of copper is roughly worth, a gram #2 copper is roughly worth a penny. So if I weigh this up afterwards, I have a pretty good idea what the scrapyard's going to give to me. I haven't looked at the prices lately. I have been told, I haven't been stripping for very long, and scrapping, but from what I've been told is that copper prices tend to go up in the spring. So I don't know if that's the case or not. I guess we're going to find out. I have heard many people talk about how the price of copper is going to start to go up. And I don't know if that's so, or how quickly, or anything like that. If you know, that's great. Please share what you know with me. I appreciate that. If you could add that into the comments, that would be lovely. Again, I'm trying to make sure that I grab all the braids. And every now and then I come to where this thing was kind of damaged, so I have to kind of work with what I get here. So some places it's not perfect at all. This originally came from a broken extension cord that was very long, and I've pulled out actually quite a bit of copper from that one extension cord. But it had some issues. It really wasn't suitable for repair, so ended up stripping it and getting some very decent copper out of it. And now I'm just getting the rest of the copper out of it. I had stripped the 3 strands that were there before, like the outer strand. I went too deep, which is why there's all these little cuts and why I'm having some troubles with pulling out this thing intact. And I'm still going to lose a little bit, but overall we'll catch some with the sweeping, and the rest of it, well, it's an offering to the copper gods. So there is our beautiful strip of copper, number 2. It's not bare bright, but it's darn nice, and it'll be easily make copper number 2. Let's try another piece, see how that goes. I'll see, maybe I have one that's a little less beat up. This one might be a little less beat up. Let's give that one a try. I'm going to try and straighten it out a little bit because it goes through a little bit better if you do that, as far as I know. And some of you who maybe used stripper a lot may be laughing at me and saying I should do things differently, which is fine. Tell me how to do it better. I am still very much a rookie, and we're going to see. That looks like that'll work. All right. All right. And so this end is not quite open, so I'll just take the knife and open it. Like so. Again, trying to make sure you capture all the strands when you're doing this. Ray's also trying to salvage what was left in the casing there, so I appreciate he's doing that for me. Alright, okay, so here we go again. And this one should be able to go through it a little bit faster because I don't have as many cuts to this particular piece. And so yeah, it's a little faster for sure. I'm still losing a few little ones, and we will get those later. And like everything else in scrapping, if you're going to micro scrap, it means you have to be patient, which is really interesting because I'm not a patient person, and it has helped me in that way to try to gain a little bit of patience. And I actually find that it's actually relaxing, so I actually enjoy doing this. The fact that I can get paid a little bit of money for it's nice. You know, I mean, we're not talking about oodles and scads of money, but also you're talking about copper that can be recycled rather than taken out of mines, which is not environmentally the cleanest process as far as I understand. I stand to be corrected. If you have a copper mine and you feel differently about it, please feel free to share your opinion, or if you know knowledge about that, then let me know what you think. But I think anytime, my understanding is a good percentage of the copper that's used for new purposes, a good percentage, and I don't know what the percentage is derived from recycled copper. Copper recycles really well, so I think that's a big win for everybody, really. this little section is not so friendly. We'll just try to make sure we get all the strands. And if we miss some, we can pull it out later if we can, although it's harder to pull it out later. Okay. Try to get it as much as possible. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I want it to be as complete as we can be. And some people like to use like a pick or another tool to help them with this process. I think that's a good idea as well. Use whatever it is that makes it easier for you, because yes, after a while this gets really hard on the fingers. And you know, if you can mechanize any part of this process, then that's great. There's also a lot of ways to strip wire besides using a Stripmeister. It doesn't have to be a Stripmeister. If you're going to get this type of device, I do like and recommend the Stripmeister itself. Not just because of brand name, but because I do believe it's very well constructed and it does the job that it's supposed to do very well. So I do think that, in my opinion, it's worth paying the extra money to get the better product. And I feel that way about most of the tools that I have as well too. There's not, you know, sometimes you'll have like a sacrificial chisel that, you know, wood chisel that's used for anything but wood and scrapping. So yes, you don't want to spend too much money on that for sure. All right, we got 96.4% of the copper out of that one. We'll just kind of get the other pieces here, and we'll sweep the floor later, make sure we get the rest and that. And yeah, so thank you for joining me to do a little bit of scrapping with a stripper. And stay tuned. Maybe I will have a follow-up video and show you what I managed to come out of here with. And again, if you have any tips, tricks, or ideas, or how I could do better, or some other ideas, please share those as well. It's going to help everybody. And Scrapping Lou, over and out. Did you get it? Is it good?